little bit to one lap.
Yeah, I think today efficiency is going to be important, again, because of the temperatures, because of how you can and cannot regenerate the energy as everything starts to get hot. You know, the battery temp, as it starts to go up as you try and put more energy back into it.
The brakes are up to temp. And then we'll go scenario 3, push to 50, scenario 3, push to 50.
Right, here we go.
Push 250 is the message. You can see the power up to 250 kilowatts on the right-hand side, over 200 kilometers an hour into turn 1.
Again, just that wide entry, looking for the apex, bit of oversteer, gets the curb, back to the throttle, and just watch the way turn 1 goes straight into 2. Settle the car down, keep it over to the right-hand side to open up turn 4. Through the kink of 5, again just feathering the throttle, trying not to spin the rear tyres up over the bumps. Curve braking zone into 7, the apex is over to the left. Don't go too wide though again, because into turn 8, this is through this great section of 8 into 9, up against the wall through 10, but opening up the angle for 11. Back to throttle, snapper oversteer flat through there into 12, picking out your braking point through turn 13. Throttle again, now you've got a couple of curved kinks there, and then braking again and turning into 16. Use the banking to your advantage. Through 17, just torturing the tyres are really over their temperature by now. Pick out your apex, back to throttle, but you've got the rear dancing around. Run to the line. P6, what a great lap for Nick de Vries. He will not be happy with that.
2 tenths in sector 1, pretty much matched Verline in sector 2, and then another couple of tenths in the final sector, which, considering Verline's sector he lost a bit of time, is not ideal. Here comes Oliver Turvey, who was reasonably quick in first practice, 15th fastest, which relatively for the Neos is decent. Here comes Turvey now, currently 13th, and he goes quickest. 1 minute 8.379, ticked him, then goes quicker. Neo 1-2, stop the clocks.
That Neo chassis looks like it's got a load of grip, where you saw Nick de Vries sliding out of the last corner. Oliver Turvey was able to get the power down, and the car dug into the track. The car had good mechanical grip. You see the Porsche sliding around through here. The Neo looked a lot better. Very impressive stuff for the Neo team.
Yeah, Lotter's not going to beat the Neo lap time here. I don't think Stoffel Van Dorn is either. Well, it'll be close with Van Dorn. Here comes Lotter. He only goes 7th quickest in the Porsche. Giovinazzi improved to go 11th fastest. There is the Neo team. Moderately happy by the looks of things. Here comes Van Dorn. He is less than a tenth away after sector 1. A few goes on the way in, a few goes on the way out, and Van Dorn comes through and remains 4th fastest. Improves, but doesn't improve his position.
That last corner is a tricky wee thing. It reminds me of the last corner at Adelaide.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, look, you'll see this. Turn in. Catch.
Turn out.
Catch. yeah, exactly.
Good stuff.
So, Tickton quickest, Turvey 2nd. Verline 3rd, Van Dorn 4th, Sam Bird in 5th place. Eduardo Mortara is currently down in 13th spot. He is at full power at the moment, and he's 2 tenths down after the middle sector. Dennis is just on the fastest final sector, and de Vries is right up to the wall on the exit of 12.
Using all the track, but again, think the tyres are overheating. They've done a cool lap, but they're definitely not in their operating window. Speaking it close to his time from before, you'd have to say that was an improvement.
De Vries then coming into the final corner again. The Mercedes EQ looking lively, much neater and tighter through the final corner. Dennis goes 6th quickest. De Vries comes through and remains in 10th. Doesn't actually improve his lap time in the end. There's a 1 minute 9.0 compared to a 1 minute 8.8 that he's done before. Here's Eduardo Mortara, and he is just about to start a lap. So let's see what the second place man in the championship, the pole sitter for the last 2 races. Not many drivers have got 3 poles in a row. Alexander Sims and Antonio Felix da Costa are, I think, the only 2. Yeah. So Mortara would love to match them later on this afternoon. If he gets through the duels, Mortara, He's made the final every time this season.
Yeah, he's on a rich vein of form, isn't he, right now?
He's won more duels than anyone else, 10.
Oh, neat and tidy through 5. He's able to keep it nice and tight. Whether that translates to quick lap time, we'll see. A bit of traffic ahead.
Less than a tenth down on Dan Ticktum.
This is the point you're looking at the car ahead thinking either keep going or I hope you've seen me. No, he's just, let's see here. Yeah, he might be okay.
Middle sector split for Mortara. He's 3 tenths away from Ticktum. Those Neo laps are legit.
Honestly, Jack, the car looked fantastic. Yeah. It looked like it was digging in. It had really good mechanical grip, so nice work from the Neo team. Looking at correcting the slides all the way through 17. And this tricky corner of 18. This is causing everybody fits. There's just the angle and the speed taken in makes it very difficult.
Mortara jumps up to 11th quickest, 4 tenths away from Ticktum. Jerome D'Ambrosio, the team principal, and Delphine Biscay, the team manager there of Rocket Venturi. And De Grassi, meanwhile, has done a good first sector, but he's sliding a lot in 16.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about Formula E car. You can hear that the screeching of tyres. When that happens, it means they're sliding over the surface. They don't have the grip required. Yeah, very messy out of 18. Tyres are not happy.
He was less than a tenth of a second away after the middle sector. Lost a second in the final third of the lap. Jake Dennis is 600ths up after the middle sector in the Andretti. Up into 6th goes Sergio Sede Camara. Here comes Jean-Eric Verne now. And he is 3 tenths away after the middle sector. And he goes into 7th place. Eyes peeled for Jake Dennis out of the final corner in the Andretti. 600ths up. Does he go to the top of the times? He does. 1 minute 8.253. 800ths clear of Ticktum. Turvey third. Verline fourth, Van Dorn fifth. That's a bit more like it for the Andretti team. We've had a tough season so far. Antonio Felix da Costa taking it very steady into the final corner to, well, he had enough gap anyway, but now he's on a quick lap.
I think he's just gone nice and easy on the tyres, trying to keep them in their out of their operating window as long as possible, trying to keep them cool. And he locks up in turn 1, misses the apex, and that's the end of the lap. Really, look at the dust as he went offline. Turn 1 in the race this afternoon, lap 1, is going to be really interesting. Incredible amount of dust offline. Let's see if he keeps pushing. Tell you what, DS Techeetah looks pretty good over the bumps, where some of the other cars are really hitting the ground and the dampers aren't sort of squashing the bumps. The DS Techeetah looks like it's really absorbing the bumps very well.
8 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Mortara coming into the final corner, and he's a quarter of a second away from Jake Dennis, so if this goes well, he could get up into 5th place, right up towards the wall. Roland goes 7th quickest. Mortara doesn't improve.
I think he got the wall. I think he left a little mark on the wall. Small one.
Here's Antonio Felix da Costa coming. Oh, this was the lock-up into turn 1.
Just watch as he starts to turn, unload the front tyre, locks up, misses the apex. Now watch the dust. Oh, we cut out of it, but well, just look at this, Neil. Look at the grip available. This will probably have a big slide.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your slide.
Turby's all over the place. Got no grip at all.
Oh, shut up now.
Through the first sector, he's a quarter of a second down on Dan Ticktum. We're going to see Ticktum's first sector on the bottom right. He's 2 tenths away from their previous best. Seven minutes on the clock. Turby through the middle sector, and he's almost half a second away and gets a little bit balked by Bird, I think. A little bit distracted. Ticktum through the middle sector. He's 3.6 seconds away, so Ticktum's backed off.
I hope.
Yeah. Practicing attack mode activation there, the Mahindra. It's really slow out on the outside there. You're going to lose a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. The position of the sensor's one thing, but the amount of dust. You imagine you're the first person to go into attack mode in the race. It's going to be pretty interesting. And I mean, interesting as in terrifying, and there's a good chance either go slow or you're going to have a little meeting with the wall.
Roland into turn 1 now.
Oh, looking good so far, Oliver Roland. Good attitude of the car.
Quickest in free practice 1 in here in Jakarta, and was quickest, I think, in one of the practice sessions in Berlin. Maybe even a couple of them. He was right at the front. Alexander Sims qualified really well for Mahindra in the first race. Roland picked up a strong 7th place in race 2. And his first sector here is less than a tenth away from Jake Dennis. Middle sector split comes just before the right-hander of 13. Onto the brakes. He's a quarter of a second down. But again, still could put him... Well, he's already in 7th place. He has done a personal best in the middle sector, so if he can find time in the final sector, then might be able to jump up a few places.
Yeah, you can hear the tyres sliding around, though. Oliver Roland does not lack commitment, does he? He did a good job there. He managed to sort of square the corner off. Didn't try to carry the speed through the middle, but got better acceleration.
No improvement, though. A tenth slower than he managed previously, Oliver Roland, and remains in 7th position. Jake Dennis still at the top of the times.
And just like that, it's 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you haven't learned it by now, you might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Roland saying he got no rear grip, going for 2 cool-down laps.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Again, information for qualifying, but you can't do that many cool-down laps because otherwise you'd be out of time.
Yeah.
Tyres change.
Sims across the line to go 12th quickest. As you say, tyre changes around the field. Nick de Vries. Out of the pits goes sitting. Lap into turn 1. Through 2. Tightening into 3. And switching back left around the mall. Down towards turn 7. First sector split for Antonio Giovinazzi. He is only 2 tenths away from Dennis. That's a reasonable first sector for the Italian.
Yeah, it looks like he's not overdriving the car, shall we say. There's a lot of understeers through the middle of the corner. He's having to put a lot of lock in to get the car to turn. But he's not fighting the rear of the car so far. Let's see. When he gets to 13, does the front of the car dig in? Does he manage to turn? Yeah, very nice through 13 for Giovinazzi.
Still only 2 tenths down on Dennis's time here, so this could be a pretty decent effort for Antonio Giovinazzi.
Neat and tidy, just driving the car within the grip level that is available to him.
No slides through 17, out through 18, up to the wall, across the line, and Antonio Giovinazzi 5th quickest.
Nice.
That's very encouraging for the Dragon man. It's a couple of tenths quicker than his teammate Sergio Senecamera.
Antonio, excellent 2nd and 3rd sectors there. I saw you caught Degrassi there in sector 1, but overall very good.
That's the voice of Jay Penske.
Yeah, giving in some feedback. Sam Bird, only a tenth down on Jake Dennis here, so Bird's got a chance of getting up towards the top 5 as he comes into 16.
He didn't turn in much. The car turned in for him, the rear sliding, but actually decent through 17 too. Just watch towards the end of the corner if he's had to correct, turn back to the left. No, really good out of 18 for Sam Bird and the Jaguar. They're only 7th quickest.
2.5 minutes on the clock. Jake Dennis is quickest currently on a 1 minute 8.253. Eduardo Mortara slots into 2nd place. Here's Mitch Evans in the Jaguar coming into turn 13. Robin Freitz keeps out of the way, and Evans is up here. Only by a couple of hundredths, but he is up on Jake Dennis's time. Dennis has just started another flying lap. Less than 3 minutes to go.
Maybe slightly offline with the traffic, even if the traffic gets out of your way. If you've got to go offline, it puts dirt on your tyres, and that can ruin the lap. There's a bit of traffic ahead. Lucas de Grassi starting his lap. Mitch Evans coming to the line.
The Jaguar driver goes 2nd. 15 thousandths away from Jake Dennis, who is himself up on his previous best by 300ths now.
That's a good lap from Mitch Evans with the amount of traffic he had in this last sector.
Dennis into 16. Way back in trying to go.
Yeah, helped him rotate through the corner though.
Catches the right front. Scrappy through the final corner, right up to the wall. And does Dennis manage to improve? No. Lost quite a bit of time in those final couple of corners. Only maybe a tenth or so, but it's enough.
He knows that if he ties a lap together, it's all looking good. Robin Frines looks like he caught one of the Neos through the 9, 10, 11 sector, and that might have cost him time.
Dennis said that was a terrible lap on the radio afterwards. Frines has to lunge it on Askew. He's only 2 tenths down after the middle sector, but that will have cost him a decent amount of time. He's currently down in 22nd place, Robin Frines. Oh, and he's got traffic here from Degrassi too.
Yeah, Degrassi not helping at all. Probably couldn't see him, and it's massively out of shape through 17, puts him offline for 18. Dirt on the tyres.
Well, there was some pace in there as he comes across the line and comes up into 20th place, but it was a lot of traffic. That was like downtown Jakarta.
Traffic is pretty bad here.
Yeah, it's really bad. On board with Sam Bird, which is part of the reason that Jakarta want a Formula E race here, to improve the governor was saying the other day, to improve the eco-friendly nature of the city and to improve the sustainability of the city. And traffic is a bad issue in Jakarta. Here comes Bird that we're on board with into the final corner. He's getting some traffic, and
DaCosta's on a lap. DaCosta 21st quickest right now, about 2.5 tenths up.
Vern's on a lap as well. Jean-Eric Vern's going quicker. The checker flag is ready. Mortara comes across the line. He goes third quickest, but look at Jean-Eric Vern, 4 tenths up on Jake Dennis after the middle sector. DaCosta goes quickest, a 1 minute 7.993. The DS to Cheetahs flexing in the final minutes of free practice 2. Vern through the final corner, out across the line. DS to Cheetah 1-2. 4 tenths. Vern ahead of DaCosta.
Yeah, that's a massive margin.
That was where DaCosta lost some time in the final sector, so that's why he was 2 tenths slower than Vern. Still, to go second quickest with that huge moment is quite something.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And like you say, DS to Cheetah waiting till the end, and then there you go. 1-2.
No wonder they're all chuckling, having a bit of a laugh.
James Barkley looks very serious.
4th quickest for Mitch Evans, and I think everybody has completed their laps now.
If I'm sitting there as a driver right now, thinking if I'm Sam Bird, Mitch Evans, I'm thinking, if I can tie a lap together, Jake Dennis too, if I can do a clean lap, I've got a shot. I've got a shot not only at getting the duels, but at pole position too.
Neo ended up 6th and 7th.
That's really good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens come qualifying a little bit later on. But Jean-Eric Vern is the driver who ends the session fastest. A 1 minute 7.594. 7 tenths clear of another team. Jake Dennis in 3rd, Evans in 4th. I mean, and qualifying hasn't actually been DS to Cheetah's strength. Dan Tickton, 6th quickest in the end. And he was telling me yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, doesn't matter, but he was saying that he's hoping that being a rookie, with everyone having a new track to learn, that can kind of play to his advantage a little bit. He backs himself as a driver who learns tracks quickly.
I think he does, absolutely. And I can tell you from experience, it's so much easier when you're on a level playing field. When you show up somewhere and you're racing against guys who've got 3, 4, 5 years experience on a circuit, it's so difficult, especially with an hour of practice.
Like you at Surfers Paradise.
I mean, Surfers Paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some practice starts, some deciding not to take the practice starts, which is quite interesting.
I think the tyres are so out of the window that they're going to have on the start that, they maybe think it'll put us off. We know what we've got. We'll just deal with it.
The starts are fairly even these days as well, aren't they?
Again, because of the technology that everybody's
exactly.
got in the car and all the stuff that helps. But
and there's no need. You don't need to find a clutch bite point or anything like that.
Yeah, especially with hand clutches, that's really difficult.
Yeah, I bet.
I always thought it was like eating your dinner with your feet.
I've never tried eating my dinner with my feet.
Neither have I.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought that was going to be some kind of revelation.
I want to see people try and go on the inside here.
Yeah.
See how dusty and dirty it is. Otherwise, it's going to come as a surprise on lap 1.
Here they come. As you see, they're both just slotting into that left-hand side, and it kind of curves left a little, doesn't it, as well, on the run down to the first corner. Here comes Tickton. See turning left to run with the wall on the outside, and then coming into the right-hander. Antonio Felix da Costa, second fastest, a 1 minute 7.993. I don't know how they know each other, but they appear to. Down at Mahindra. And a very, very strong start to the session, or start to the day, for DS Techeetah, because they Jean-Eric Vergne was 5th quickest in free practice 1. DS Techeetah 1-2 in free practice 2. Jean-Eric Vergne ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. Jake Dennis 3rd, Mitch Evans 4th, Eduardo Mortara in 5th. And then Tictum, Turvey, Verline, Giovinazzi and Van Dorn. So the two Neos and Giovinazzi all quite feel-good stories from that session. Sam Bird in 11th place. He got traffic on his second push lap. That's the reason he didn't actually improve on his second run. Nick Cassidy improved on the final lap to get up into 16th place. And Vision looked like they might be a little bit adrift, with Cassidy 16th, Freins 21st. Okay, Freins was only a couple of tenths down after the first sector before he then got traffic, but wasn't exactly setting the world alight. Oliver Askew for Avalanche Andretti down in the back, another rookie who you thought maybe it would favour coming into this weekend in Jakarta. Qualifying next. It's tough to call.
Whoever puts a lap together has got a chance of getting into the duels here and getting on pole position. It's so close, but you've got to put all 18 corners together.
Da Costa, certainly a popular gentleman, and he saying hi to everybody on his way past. He was with the Andretti team for a couple of seasons.
He's just a good guy.
He is. Andre Lotterer.
Nice headgear.
Yeah. Making his way back to the Porsche garage. Pascal Wehrlein, 8th quickest. Went quickest earlier on, didn't he? But then sort of slipped away. Lost 3 tenths in the middle sector, 4 tenths in the final sector to Jean-Eric Vergne. The DS Techeetahs look... that's fairly ominous, those laps, weren't they?
I thought it was looking really good, really close, but they've just smashed it.
Yeah.
But I do think that, as I said, that they've got the ability to put a lap together to be right up there with them.
Evans 4th fastest for the Jaguar TCS racing team. Also 4th in the championship standings. That double win in Rome, launching him into contention. Dan Tictum, 6th quickest for Neo 333.
It's always good when you go back to the garage, you look at the time sheet and your name's up there. Psychologically, nice to see.
And there is also Fan Boost to get involved with too. You can scan the QR code or head to fiaformulary.com/fanboost to vote for your favourite driver to get an additional burst of power in the second half of the E-Prix. Stoffel Van Dorn winning it as ever. Da Costa involved in there as well. De Vries, Vergne and Evans, the 5 drivers currently receiving that vote. You can vote once per day, and voting closes once the race is underway. Van Dorn, Da Costa, De Vries, Vergne and Evans, the driver with it at the moment. So, end of the second free practice session for the Jakarta E-Prix, the first ever Formula E race in Indonesia, the first single-seater motorsport race since 2006, and half of the gang wanted to get straight out on track. Antonio Felix da Costa locked up into turn 13, not for the first time today, maybe not for the last. Mitch Evans ended the session 4th fastest as he was weaving his way through the traffic in the early stages, which was a real challenge. Nick De Vries diving out of the way at the final corner. There was also this moment as Freins and Vergne and Cassidy went 3 wide into turn 13. Pascal Wehrlein was quick in the early stages, went to the top of the times, and then the Neos went into 1st and 2nd. Dan Tictum ahead of his teammate Oliver Turvey. Freins got some more traffic here behind Lucas de Grassi. That cost cost him lap time, and meant he only finished the session 21st quickest. Jake Dennis was looking quick. He was at the top of the times, going into the final few moments. Pit stop and tyre changes all round for some final runs. And despite this lockup, Antonio Felix da Costa finished second quickest. And it was Jean-Eric Verne, when the checker flag fell, who went 4 tenths quicker than his teammate, 7 tenths quicker than any other team. And Diaz Techeetah looking very, very strong for qualifying, which is coming up in just an hour's time. Oliver Turvey has grown a moustache this weekend, and to reflect that, the team have affixed a moustache to the screen outside the garage. But he's going to be tough. And there is Oliver Turvey, and we'll be back for qualifying in an hour.